Good afternoon, everybody.
Welcome back.
Welcome back to Bearbackers. Yeah, welcome me back too. 10-game road trip for me. I've been here 31 years, and that was the longest trip I've ever been on.
Wow.
Six airports, 5 hotels, 2 rental cars, 2 basketball arenas, a practice gym, 2 football stadiums, and got back yesterday about 1 o'clock. So yeah, I'm a little tired. This week's schedule, a little bit at home this week. Tonight, Nathan Brown coaches show at Walk-Ons at 7 p.m. and on the Buzz 2, 106.7. Our men's soccer team is in the ASUN semifinals at 5 p.m. tonight against number 1 seed Stetson down on their home field in DeLand. We tied them 1-1 on October 19th down there at their place. So possibility. This is the semis, and they're the number 1 seed. So big one tonight at 5 o'clock on ESPN+. Wednesday, the basketball Bears have their season home opener. Wednesday evening, hosting Randall University. That's a NCCAA school out of Moore, Oklahoma, which is National Christian College Athletic Association. I looked up their enrollment compared to what we just played. They have 375 students. We just played 2 schools that averaged 35,000 students, BYU and Utah. So it's going to be a little different. Friday, the volleyball Sugar Bears are at Eastern Kentucky, 5 p.m. our time in Richmond. Cross-country regionals are at Texas A&M down in College Station on Friday morning. Saturday, men's basketball plays at Western Illinois in Macomb at 1 p.m. Women's basketball is at UT Martin at 7 p.m. in Martin, Tennessee. Volleyball goes back-to-back days, playing at Bellarmine in Louisville, Kentucky at 3 p.m. our time. And the football Bears are back on the stripes, take on Southern Utah at 4 p.m. and on Senior Day at Estes Stadium. Start today with volleyball. The Sugar Bears went 1-1 last week, lost in 5 sets to Lipscomb on Friday at the Prince Center, then came back for a big Senior Day sweep over Austin Peay yesterday. Allison Holloway, Mackenzie Vernon, Shelby Owens, Bray Denton, and Lily Taylor played their final home games of their careers. We are now 11-3 in ASUN play, and have already clinched a spot in the ASUN, which we already knew. Florida Gulf Coast is 13-1. Lipscomb is 13-2. We are 11-3. EKU is 10-4. So the ASUN tournament is going to be a heck of a tournament. We finished the regular season at EKU in Bellarmine, as I said. EKU's 10-4, Bellarmine's 11 in conference. Tournament starts a week from Thursday, the 21st, down at Florida Gulf Coast. Talked to Coach Newberry this morning. He and his wife, Brittany, who's the coach over at Hendricks in volleyball, they're taking a family day because they hadn't seen each other much lately, so he's not with us today. They're out doing something fun away from volleyball, so more power to them. Women's soccer team was the number 1 seed in the ASUN tournament, as we said last week. It ran into a buzzsaw in the semifinals Thursday. We lost to Lipscomb 7-0. Lipscomb went on to win the title yesterday. They beat EKU 1-0. We had several players named to the all ASUN team and all ASUN academic teams, as they talked about last week. Overall, a very impressive year for Jeremy Bishop's women's soccer team. Men's soccer team beat Queens 3-2 in the ASUN quarterfinals on Saturday. Coach Frank Kohlenstein's obviously a little busy today. He's down in DeLand, Florida, getting ready for the semifinals. Good luck to the Bears, who also had 5 all ASUN selections, including 3 first-team picks that were announced last week. Again, 5 p.m. start today in the ASUN semifinals in DeLand. Women's basketball Sugar Bears had the most successful week of anybody last week. They won twice. Excuse me. Pair of wins over Hendricks on Monday at home and Samford on Friday, both at the Fair Center. The latter was a Screaming Kids Day in front of 1,000 kids at Fair Center. And from what I could tell from the photos and from the videos, it was quite the success. Against Hendricks, we set a school record with 18 three-pointers from 6 different players. That's not going to happen very often. Led by Cheyenne Kemp from Morrilton, she had 5. Won the game 104-30. We had a 23-1 second quarter. We outscored them 23-1 in the second quarter. Against Sanford, we nearly did the same thing. Down 32-22 at the half. Outscored Sanford 24-4 in the third quarter. Won the game. What was the final? I don't even have it down here. Gotcha. That'll work. So, Tony, whatever halftime speech was on that game, apparently pretty good. You might want to remember that. We have a week off before heading to UT Martin for a 7 p.m. game on Saturday. Now let's hear from Coach Tony Kemper.
Yeah, so had a good opening week. I guess I want to start thanking Kristen and her people for the elementary day. It was really good. I think we haven't done one for a really long time, but I thought we really laid the foundation for that. Was a really good one. I think it'll grow from there, and I'll forget it if I don't say thank you now. But it was fun to have them in there. I'll get to the disorganization that it caused for much of the first half later, but I'll start with Hendricks. Hendricks, I thought our team did what we do a lot at home, which is come out and really get after people. That's kind of been their MO for I guess the 2 years that we've been here so far. I think we're now maybe like 16-1 at home or something like that, and they do a good job of making shots early. Many times it's pretty disheartening, I think, as far as how many times the other team's got to watch it go in. And I thought, Hendricks, I thought had a really good game plan, and I told him after the game, we'll have that same game plan against, Kansas State, which is hope they miss. You got to keep them from layups, and you hope they miss. And we made 18 threes. So we can shoot it when our head's in the right spaces. I think the best number is we had 6 people make more than one. So you've got a lot of different people that can make a basket if you have 6 different ones that can make multiple threes. So took care of business against Hendricks. And then fast forward to Friday, good Samford team. Samford beat us last year, I guess second game of the year down there. Quality team, tough. I thought physically they really got after us. Really the whole game, even the second half, I thought they did the same thing. Pressured us, and we did not handle that well, for sure. The elementary school, the screaming. I do a lot of organization. They couldn't hear it, and my voice was bad anyway. I was a little bit under the weather, and many times I was getting really good ideas from over here, and I'm like, it doesn't matter. They can't hear it anyway. So, winning it is awesome because you get to learn the lessons and still feel good at the end, but they had to come to grips with, like, we got to get ourselves organized. We can't just look to him. And so usually, like, we play Oklahoma State, that's a elementary day. So we already know going in there, you're not going to be able to hear anything. You're going to have to make better decisions on your own, and we'll have to do it sooner. So bad first half, really good response in the second half. We're going to work on being aggressive. We've got a good team of multiple people that can score baskets, super passive in the first half. We made 18 threes against Hendricks. We shot 14 against Samford. So that's coaching 2 different teams. And we need to be an aggressive offensive team. We have a lot of different people that can score. So they've got to get that mentality going, and they got to bring it every game. But a really nice win, 42-12 after half. And I didn't say much at halftime. Everybody's like, what'd you say? I told them to calm down, honestly. I mean, we were all kind of out of it and wild, and that includes me. And so really just took a couple of deep breaths, and I thought our focus level and our confidence, it was just different. I mean, I'm not sure we got really better shots. We were just more focused and made more. So it's good to have a switch. Where they flipped it, we need to get more consistent with how we operate for more of the game. So happy to be 2-0. Got a big challenge this weekend at Tennessee Martin. They are perennially really good in the OVC. They were NCAA tournament last year, picked to win it this year. So we'll have to play well over there to win. And we do have a long week. That's good. We kind of break it up. We'll work on us yesterday and today and how we get better, and then we have a day off Tuesday and then 3 days going into Tennessee Martin where we'll kind of hone in on what they do. But in a good place right now. We got to keep getting better, and that's it. That's what I got. Questions? Gene?
Did you game plan for Friday? Did you want to go down low as much as you did, or it seemed like you played a really
bad
good
first
game in the paint?
Yeah, I mean that. So we kind of have an interesting team. We can we can kind of do a lot of different things. And typically, I think if you watch us play Hendricks, you're like, well, you guys are really guard heavy and you shoot a lot of threes. Really, we don't. Like, really, if you look at what we do, we kind of dominate the paint. Now, we do it through a lot of guard play and post-entry stuff. But no, not really, because they have a big transfer center from Vandy she's 6'5" and legit 6'5". So there's probably no way that I would have told you you're only going to make 4 threes and you're going to win going away. I probably didn't think that was part of the formula. So, you have to put pressure on the paint. You got to put pressure on the basket. I thought Cheyenne Banks and Liz ABR were both really aggressive in there. And so probably more so, especially than the guards early. So sometimes you kind of start the game and then you figure out where you think you can get them. But I think individual times in the game we can do different things to try to score. And at some point in time, it's like, let's go at her and see how that works.
I thought it was good. I think there's a lot of diversity there, to mess people up later on down the road. So you can be really good down low as well as outside.
Yeah, we got to get pressure on the basket, and I think that's what we're going to work on today. Like I said, they really pressured us. They forced our offense out away from the. They took away a lot of our aggressiveness in terms of driving, and we got to handle that better when they do it. So, anybody else? Awesome, thanks.
Outscore somebody 42-12 in the second half. That's pretty impressive. I don't care who you're playing. That's impressive. Our new era for men's basketball got underway last week in 2 pretty tough environments to play, at BYU on Tuesday and at Utah on Thursday. Since we moved to Division I in 2006, we played a who's who of college basketball places. We played at Kentucky, Duke, Kansas, you name it. The student crowd at BYU the other night might have been as good as I've seen. They came in an hour and a half before the game. They opened the doors, came sprinting in. They filled the whole end of their 15,000 seat arena. Just white out. It was very, very impressive. And the team was impressive also, as was Utah. They were both very impressive. We lost both games, but we were playing freshmen and sophomores against some really, really talented seasoned talent. Bright spots for the Bears. Sophomore guard Braden Fagbemi was really good, solid at the point guard in both games. Nehemiah Turner, big freshman power forward, had his moments. Freshman guard Layton Taylor showed how good he can be. We knew he was going to be, and he showed it those 2 games. He's over his sprained ankle. Definitely some good from those 2 games. And as I said, we host Randall University Wednesday in our home opener on Scottie Pippen Court. Come out and see the Bears at 6:30. And now let's turn it over to Coach John Shulman.
Gene, exactly how I wanted to start my tenure. Being down 45-18 at half at Utah with Dr. Davis sitting right behind me. A lot of fun. Good moments. Good moments. First of all, do we have, I know today's Veterans Day, correct? Is that correct? Do we have any veterans in here today? All right, will you stand up so we can give you a hand, please? I didn't know, Matt was with Dr. Davis, and it was a good feeling having your AD, your 2 bosses right behind you during that time. Let me say this about Veterans Day, because it's really important in Huntsville, Alabama, huge military presence. All you all did is allow us to do what we get to do every single day. And that's what our veterans have done and our military does. We get to do what we get to do every single day because of y'all. So thank you very much. I appreciate your service. Just want to throw that out there. I will tell you this. Dr. Davis and Matt were out there, came up with another gentleman. Why did they come up? They didn't come up to watch the game only. They came up to take one of our players back as soon as the game was over because he had lost his mom and he had a funeral the next morning. And for a sacrifice for them to make and for our player to make because he missed visitation with his family, but that was his choice. And we got a chance to get him back for a long day on Friday. So thank y'all very much for making that effort and coming out there. I will say this, and I'll explain to you kind of what's going on in college basketball. When we tipped it up against Utah, their starting 1 and 2 man had played in 172 Division I games. This is old times. This is COVID and portal and NIL deal. 172 games they had played. That's a lot of experience. Our starting 1 and 2 Division I games, 2. The BYU game. That's it. I counted up games for Utah. They had played in over 575 Division I games, and our team total was like 162. So that's not an excuse, that's reality. And I knew that coming in, but it's still hard to deal with once you get in that moment. Now BYU, that was ridiculous. They had, it was not 15,000, 18,000, and they had 18,000 in there. The nicest 18,000 fans I've never seen anything like it. We had all those students right beside us. I was like, oh my gosh. And they were like, hang in there, coach, you're okay. Y'all are doing good. I was like, can you be rude, please? These people, I'm just telling you, they're the nicest humans alive. And I was like, it was amazing. And then BYU's got 2 top 20 picks in the NBA for next year. They have the Ketchens kid, and they got a Russian kid that's phenomenal. I don't know if a Russian, can you be a Mormon if you're Russian? I'm not sure about that one. But they've got 2 phenomenal, I think they're a top 15, top 20 program in the country. And then we go to Utah. And Utah was, by the time we tipped it up, thank God the election was Tuesday. So hopefully y'all didn't watch the game on TV. And on Thursday we started about like 10:30 Mountain Time. It was like 4 o'clock in the morning. We're trying to play a basketball. They're really good. They play in the Big 12. So does BYU. Big 12 and the SEC, the 2 of the top conferences in the country. And so, unbelievable speeding up process for our little kids. We could have played. We could have opened here. We could have opened there. Not really, because I inherited this schedule. So we were going to open at BYU in Utah. But really difficult. Besides being Power 5 schools, like there are schools like, and I'll knock on wood. Arkansas made 4 threes against Lipscomb. That's not who they are. They got big, strong, athletic dudes that are not real skilled. Utah is skilled. BYU is skilled. Utah made 19 threes against us. That's what they do. So it was a perfect storm going out there with a brand new team and having to deal with what we had to deal with. That in turn, just learn. Win or learn. We wanted to speed up the process. How do you speed up the process of getting someone experience? You throw them to the wolves. And we threw our guys to the wolves. And that's okay. Because of this week, we had to take Sunday off because we got a funky week. So we had to practice on Saturday. Our guys' response to the week has been phenomenal, fantastic. And it's not easy. It's not easy. Listen, when you all fail, most of the time when you fail, and I'll talk about in Coach Brown, not that you failed, but I'm just, listen what I'm saying here. When you all fail, most of the time when you fail in front of 2 people, maybe 1 person, maybe nobody. Maybe you just screwed up something and nobody knows about it. When these kids and coaches, when we fail in front of the world. And that's why athletes are different. It's not about failing, it's about getting up off the deck after that experience. And so you never fail. You've got to get up off the deck. And our kids got off the deck. And I'm really looking forward to seeing our kids perform on Wednesday. And it's a growing process, it's a learning process. I will say this, it's a learning process. You can take this for whatever you do. You can make excuses or you can progress. You can't do both at the same time. So, hey man, we got our little fannies whipped at two really good places and two really good basketball teams. But we're not gonna make excuses about that. We're gonna get better. We gotta get better on the defense end. We gotta be better on the offense end. I will say this, as Lane Taylor's this very confident young man from Farmington, Arkansas, that said after the BYU game, he said, Coach, yeah, Lane, Coach, I was about to throw up. I was so nervous before that game. I get it. We just got a bunch of young little kids that were nervous going into their first college game. And then they had Utah the next game. I will say this. We scored 45 points in our last half. So we scored 45 points against Utah in the last half. We scored 50 against BYU for the game. So there's progress. We gave up, here's the nice thing. We gave up 53 points in the second half against Utah. 40 of them were our screw-ups. So we can fix those. This is fixable. So I feel like I got hit by a train. All right. But I'm excited. I'm ready for practice today. Our team is. We're trying to get healthier. Ty Robinson's not healthy at all. Lane's getting healthier. And now Glory doesn't have to play with the pain of having to go back home and deal with the stuff he had to deal with on Friday. So I'll promise you this. All this is for your team, it's a test. Can you pass the test? That's it. What does passing the test mean? Get a 71? No. Passing the test means getting back up and going hard at practice today. When everybody feels sorry for themselves. Do you? That's what passing the test is. So today we go back to work today. We go back to work Tuesday. Right now, Randall University to me looks like North Carolina or Duke. I'm like, oh my God. I was like, could you not find us somebody we could just whip? And I mean, they look unbelievable. And they have 375. I swear to goodness, they look fantastic. We need something good to happen to us. So we're sending out a video today to all of our season ticket holders, to all of our alums, to our camp parents. We need people there Wednesday night. You all have gotten so used to just, since Arkansas, our basketball program not being very good. So it's no big deal. I want it to be a big deal when we lose. I want it to be a big deal when we win. I want you to get back involved and get invested again. I need you. Gene, where are you going to be Wednesday night?
I'm gonna be across the street here. Thursday.
I don't even know
I think
where I
I'm
am. Okay, that's where we play,
I
right?
think I'm a different end. I need you, we need you. Our kids need you. Like, listen, I'm just promising you, when we're winning, we're tired. We don't need you as much. It's the opposite in athletics. It's the opposite of coaching. And sometimes I fail with that. When our kids, that's why I love saving. When you're winning, you don't need a coach saying, hey, look what you're doing. You're doing such a good job. You're winning. They already know that. When your kids are struggling, they need you. And right now, our kids don't feel great about themselves. Listen, there's not anybody in our league on the BYU and Utah win. But we expect more. We want more. And I want them to hurt. I want us to hurt. I don't want us to go collect a check. I want us to hurt after we don't have success at BYU and after we don't have success at Utah. Because life, it's been perfect for y'all, I know. All right? But sometimes life isn't perfect. And sometimes you got to figure out a way to get your tail end back up and get going. And that's what we're going to do. You will see a team on Wednesday night that will fight, that will battle, that will play their tail ends off. We've tweaked a little bit defensively, and we're going to continue the process. And we just got to get these guys older. I watched Lipscomb play on Saturday. They start 4 fifth-year seniors. We're not to that point in our program at this moment. We will get there. And we will get there January 2nd. Our little freshmen will be a lot older on January the 2nd. I know that. And so what do? We just stay with the process, stay with the process, stay with the process, stay with the process. And that's what we're going to do.
And that's what, and that's what our kids are gonna do, period. So we're not gonna be so result oriented. We're gonna be process oriented. We gotta get better today. And then tomorrow we gotta get better tomorrow. And then we'll play on Wednesday, we gotta get better. And then we'll go Thursday, Friday. Got a beautiful trip to Western Illinois on Saturday. And I don't know, I don't think you can get to Western Illinois. All right, so like, we're flying to Peoria and then we're driving like 88 hours. I'm like, aren't they right beside each other? Yeah, but it's not easy to get there. All right, and so we got Western Illinois Saturday, and then we finally get some other home games that next week, and then we got Georgia Tech, and then we got Oklahoma, and then we got Arkansas. Easy. Whatever don't kill you makes you stronger. I just keep reminding myself that every single day. Any questions I got for you before I can put Coach Brown on the spot? I know you're pumped up about being up here. I know you're pumped up. Any other questions? Come on, Gene, you got any questions?
No questions, but I was proud of what y'all did. I watched it Tuesday night, didn't miss a minute of it. Same Thursday.
Well, we're gonna listen. We're gonna fight. We're gonna fight, and we're gonna battle, and we gotta do a better job guarding it, and we gotta get these kids. But I demand a lot, and I expect a lot, and I love our kids. But sometimes, as a parent, you gotta hold everybody accountable. My parents held me accountable. I'm gonna hold our kids accountable. Sometimes honest, sometimes, you ever heard that the truth hurts? No, it doesn't. The truth helps. It doesn't hurt. The truth helps. So we tell them the truth so we can get better and we can get going. Off the court, on the court, everywhere. Truth helps. And we're gonna get there. We're gonna get there and it starts Wednesday. I appreciate y'all being here. Hopefully see y'all. I'll see you Wednesday.
Absolutely.
See you Wednesday. I know you'll be there. You'll be sitting with G. Y'all be good.
He mentioned the 19 three-pointers that Utah hit. They hit 19 in their opener. They hit 19 in their opener on Monday, set their school record. So they tied us. And so if there's a moral victory there, we didn't let them break it because the whole place was yelling, for that next three-pointer. And they missed, I don't know.
I think we held the ball last 20 seconds.
Exactly. We did not let them break that record that they set previous 3 nights before. So, and also I appreciate you mentioning that about Veterans Day. Jack, appreciate you. My dad was in the Air Force for 20 years, so I appreciate y'all. The injuries are piling up for our Bears, as you saw. Showed in Saturday's 31-24 loss at EKU. Starting quarterback Will McIlvain went out late in the second quarter with a shoulder. Backup Austin Myers from Bologna played about the next 2 quarters, also left with an injury. We played the final 2 series with a redshirt freshman, who up until that point was the guy signaling in the plays. I guarantee he didn't get on that charter flight expecting to play last weekend. But Caleb Koger from Katy, Texas was pretty solid, completed 5 of 10 passes for 64 yards. Did what he needed to do except the final drive, which we just ran out of time on that. The defense put up really good numbers, held EKU to 268 yards of total offense. That's pretty solid. We again lost the turnover battle 2-0, which is not good. That's going to hurt in close games. We're now 6-4 overall, 3-3 in the UAC. 2 regular season games remaining. Home versus Southern Utah this weekend at 4 for Senior Day, and at Tarleton State on November 23rd, 2 p.m. in beautiful Stephenville, Texas, which also is impossible to get to, by the way. Now let's hear from Coach Brown.
Coach Shulman, I appreciate your comedic relief. I mean, it's good for the soul, for a coach's soul, and hopefully I'm still doing this as long as you've been doing it. So for those of you that have not been introduced to Caleb Koger, he is, like Steve said, a redshirt freshman from Katy, Texas, on-scholarship player. Led his team to a 6A state championship in his senior season at Katy High School, one of the most historic programs really in the country, but for sure in the state of Texas. And to totally answer your question on that, Steve, I would agree. He had zero anticipation of entering a football game, and that's not a knock. You just don't. I've been coaching now for 16 years, and in 16 years I've never gotten to my 3rd quarterback in one game. You're limited with a travel roster, right? So the conference limits you with a travel roster, so you got to make decisions, right? So we travel 3 quarterbacks, and it's because we've got to have more depth at other positions, and you obviously don't think that you're going to end up getting to your third quarterback. So, it really was the last man standing at that position. And I'll say this, unfortunately for us, when Will went down, he was probably having his best first half of the season. He was 10 of 14 with 2 touchdowns, 127 yards or something like that. Was really seeing the defense, had him off balanced. At that point, we had 17 points. We were rolling, and unfortunately for him, he took a shot on the sideline, kind of got rammed into the ground on a scramble. He picked up a first down on a scramble, and immediately, I was kind of right at my feet. Immediately said, "Coach, I need to play." So that's when we got Austin out there. I thought Austin came in and performed. I've been very confident. I've had some people ask me about Austin in here, actually. My thoughts on him and his future. I think he is the future. I think he's a very good football player. You saw it at times. Now, he got thrown in a tough situation too. We probably could have and should have took a timeout when Will went down. He got thrown out there ice cold. It's tough to do as a quarterback. Didn't get any snaps. Didn't get any warm-up throws. He's not signaling like Caleb Koger is, but he gets in doing all those things. But I thought Austin came in and executed and performed at a high level as well. He threw a touchdown pass first drive of the second half. And really, you saw some of his mobility if you watched the game. I mean, on the play he got injured on, I think it was 3rd and 25, and he got 24 yards. He got 20 yards on that. Put us in a situation where we had a decision to make on 4th down, whether to go for it or attempt a long field goal. And unfortunately for us, he got injured on that play. And so we had to finish the remainder of the fourth quarter with Caleb at quarterback. So here's what I know. Coach Shulman mentioned failure and all those things. We've had 2 weeks of what you would say I call not getting paid. We say in our program we say when we win, that's like a payment, right? That's what you work for. It's not a literal payment, but it's a payment, right? It's basically your price of the mission that you put into the work, hard work, and all the things that you've done. So we haven't got paid the last 2 weeks, but I'll tell you this. I had such a different feeling walking off the field at EKU than I did the week before in Utah. And some of that was the resilience and response that our whole team made coming together as a unit on Saturday night. There wasn't a soul, and Steve-O can attest to this because he's on the sideline, there wasn't a soul sitting down in that fourth quarter. I mean, that when not only when Austin went in, but then when Caleb had to go in, there was just so much support for that young man that was put in that situation. And for those of you that don't understand how hard that would be to go in that situation with everything on the line as a cold quarterback who literally has not taken a team snap in practice probably a month. I mean, he signals and he gets individual reps. He gets routes versus air, throwing all the time. But actual team reps, you can only get 2 guys ready. I mean, with the amount of time you've got to practice. So his team rallied behind him, and it was a proud moment for me as a former quarterback. It was a proud moment for me as a coach to watch those guys and then watch him perform and give us a chance to win when it was all said and done against a really good football team on the road. And again, EKU is a tough place to play. We've proven that over the last few years. It's tough to win there. But I think we got more out of that situation than maybe we have out of any win or anything all year. And I'm being very literal when I say that because when we had our team meeting last night, the conversation came up and I had a couple guys stand up and said, "Coach, we didn't lose. There was more to that than the loss." And so when you hear guys saying that, and you can just feel the emotion that went into that game. Obviously, the loss is something that is obviously devastating, and you put all this work and time and effort into. But to watch guys respond the way they did, then you're doing something right. And that's great to see. But yeah, it's that time of year, and you guys saw Shunderick Powell attempted to play football on Saturday and made some good runs, but he just doesn't have that extra gear right now, and he's dealing with a hamstring. And the first play of the first half and the second play of the second half, he had broke both runs and got to the secondary 3-4 weeks ago. He scores touchdown on both of those every single time. And he's trying, and he's trying hard for his teammates. He's trying hard for his coaches. So, you know, his status is obviously up in the air this week. You know, he didn't go back in after that long run, after the run where he ran out of bounds just the second half. You know, as well as, you know, figuring out what's going on with our quarterback situation leading into the final 2 games. Both quarterbacks are being evaluated as we speak. That's why I've had my phone on me. They're with our doctors, and so we'll get some clarity on them. Hopefully it's good news. I'm going to be cautiously optimistic. If not, we'll have a plan in place and ready to go. If they are, then let's go. Strap it up and play. And I've played with quarterbacks that have been dinged up and injured throughout my whole career. It's hard to keep a healthy quarterback all year. But if they're not good to go, then we'll have somebody ready to go this weekend for Southern Utah. But proud of our guys. Again, not proud of the loss, but proud of the way we handled that trip, and giving ourselves an opportunity in that circumstance to have a chance with the ball in our hands to at least go try to tie the football game, which was a big deal. You know, just one of them games where you didn't feel like the brakes were pushing your way in all aspects, and that's unfortunate. Southern Utah this week, long trip for them. You know, and we're 4-0 at home, so this is our 5th home game. We've done a great job all year at home, and hopefully this weekend we're prepared and ready to go to hold serve at home, and you know, give us an opportunity to get to win number 7, be 7-3 if we can get that win against Division I FCS opponents, and that's pretty good going into the last week of the season. So if we can get this win, we've got a lot to play for, and so our guys have worked hard to give us this opportunity to still have a couple hiccups and still have something to play for, and that's a testament to the front end of the season, and obviously playing a full Division I schedule, right? No Division II games in there, that helps. That's a big deal as far as late in the year scheduling, and so our guys are playing for a lot. It'll be a senior day for us. I think we've got 19 guys slated to walk for senior day, and I'm kind of like Coach Shulman was talking about. It's hard to keep up with who are seniors these days. I mean, still got guys that played during COVID year. You've got, you know, when they transfer. You know, it's hard to keep up, and unfortunately for you guys, it's going to be more and more common to be hard to keep up with. It's just the way it is. That's the landscape we're in. But of those 19 seniors, I know that I counted it up. I think 9 of them are homegrown since they were signed as high school kids, and have been here for 4+ years. Some of them 5 or even 6 years if they took the COVID year. So there's a lot of great talented players that they're going to play their last guaranteed game on the stripes, and they've had a lot of success and some failures and all parts in between. But it'll be a great opportunity to honor them and the commitment and work ethic they put into this program for the last 4 or 5 years or however long they've been here. So. Southern Utah's a good football team. They're 5-5, which doesn't sound like much, but they got they played 2 FBS games. They lost to Utah early in the year. They also beat UTEP, which is an FBS win, early in the year, and since then have kind of split games, played a tough schedule, but very well coached team by Coach Fitzgerald. Does a good job. They have one of the best running backs in the country. I think he leads the nation in the country at this point. He'll wear number 4. His last name's Lamberson. Very tough, strong kid. Has a great jump cut. Does a good job with patience and getting in the hole. He'll be a great challenge for us. Be the best running back we've faced to date as an individual at that position. And they turn to hand the ball to him. He'll touch the ball 30+ times on Saturday. There's no window dressing or guessing. They're going to turn and hand the ball to him, and they believe in him. So we're going to have to do a good job loading the box and stopping the run, and then being opportunistic on offense, and hopefully, develop a little bit of creativity if we're in a tough quarterback situation. If worst case scenario, neither one of our 1 or 2 guys are ready to go, which we hope they are. Then you'll see Caleb, and you'll probably see Eric McGee, the true freshman, will play some as well. So out of Little Rock Parkview. We'll put a good plan in place for those guys. I thought individually Trajan Bridges really stepped out, looked the part on Saturday. We'll have to lean on him. Obviously Darius Hale and Landon Chambers, with Shunderick being kind of banged up. Those 2 have got to continue to be big at running back. And then Malachi Henry had another big game as well, along with Cam Robinson, Ty Berry. Some of those guys have to continue to step up. So big weekend for us and big week of prep. Turn the page and keep going. Two long road trips, and we obviously didn't get paid in either one of them. It's good to be home. It's good to be home. 3 of your last 4 are on the road, and we hadn't handled the first 2, so we need to get this one so we give ourselves a chance in the last one, and that's the most important thing. With that being said, any questions? Dr. Bradley? Yes, sir.
Even if you were the biggest walk-on,
Yeah,
we've always treated that person with value,
I agree.
and I think that's why you saw what you saw.
Yeah, I appreciate those words, and honestly, here's college athletics in a just a small bucket. Caleb Koger, like I said, had no intention of probably playing in that game. Yet he felt like he lost the game. You know what I'm saying? And you laugh at it, but it's sad, right? I mean, that's how much time, effort spent in this, and he just felt like, I let my team down. I didn't finish that drive, and it's like, dude, you've taken 6 reps in a month, in practice. I mean, you're right. I mean, and so the value of these young men is so much higher than just again, performing or failing, right? And Caleb's a perfect example of that. But I'll tell you what, he's stone cold. He looked me. I went up to him when I said you're going in. He looked me in the face, and I said, "You going in? You know that, right?" He goes, "Yes, sir." I said, "You got this." He goes, "Oh, I got it." I mean, and that's what you like about stuff like that.
If you don't have a single win in your repertoire, I can show you how to put one in.
There's a whiteboard downstairs. I'm always open to good opinions. Penny. Who's that? He's been battling an ankle for about a month now. I mean, Darius is one of those kids that's so. Well, you guys have seen him. His legs are the size of this podium. So. He can. When you get a guy with a kind of an ankle issue that's that big and strong. I mean, there's a lot of weight pounded on that ankle, and again, kind of lose your fleet of foot. But he is healthier than Sean Derrick. He is healthier than Sean Derrick is. But both of them are trying to battle. And that's why you're going to see, and that's why you saw more Landon Chambers. And you probably could tell if you watched the game, he's got a little twitch to him. I mean, it's like you got so used to seeing Sean Derrick fly. Well, Sean Derrick's kind of hampered, and then Darius is kind of hampered. Then all of a sudden Landon gets in there, and it's like, okay, we got to keep handing him the ball. And I think Landon's got a bright future as a redshirt freshman. Gene?
What's the possibility of closing the visitor's dressing room and then this weekend using the softball facility?
So there's a little backstory to that. It's about that far. So Southern Utah, when you play out there, you dress. We mapped it out. It's over a quarter of a mile from the stadium. So much so that you can't go to your locker room at halftime. I mean, you'll by the time you get there, you'll be walking back. I'm all for it as long as Matt and President Davis are on board. I mean, no, I'm not that. I'm not that way. I'm not, man. I like killing people with kindness, and giving them. I know, but I want.
It would literally be like President Hyper.
Yeah. It's a long way. It's a long way. Yeah. Well, hey, looking forward to this last 2 weeks. Guys are grinding, and they hadn't got paid in a couple weeks. They're due one, and I look forward to being at home this weekend. Hopefully, we see everybody out there. Thank y'all.
Good afternoon. Hi. How's everybody doing? That's good. Well, I know we've covered most of it for this week, but just to reiterate, men's soccer this afternoon, 5 p.m. on ESPN, semifinal match for Stetson, so I hope you can tune in and watch that big match. Wednesday, Coach Shulman, home debut in the Fair Center. Excited about it. That's right, Kristen. That was my next point. 6:30 p.m. in the Ferris Center Wednesday night, and we are doing another canned food drive. So if you have a chance to bring some canned food goods, please bring them. Go into the Bear Foods Pantry. So excited about that. And also, if you don't have tickets, and that's going to provide a discounted ticket for Wednesday night's game, but hope to see you there at 6:30. And then Senior Day on Saturday on the Stripes, we will have a Black Hawk flyover pregame. So special thanks to Jake Briley with the Conway Airport and Dr. Brad Teague for helping us get that set up, and excited about that. So 4 p.m. kick. With that, any questions of me? Kristen, what time's the flyover?
Sorry. Hold on. I timed it out. It's like 11 minutes to kick, so that's fine. 3:50.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's 3:50.
So, Penny, that's a great question. That's another interesting point that I don't think a lot of people know about. Anything that happens on game day is timed down to the second. So, if you look at our game script, it's a big Excel spreadsheet essentially, and it's all timed down to the second. So, when you see Kristen and her team running up and down the sideline wondering why something's not going, and that's why. It's because everything's timed down, and it's all we're hoping we go off without any hitches. So, roughly 11 minutes before kickoff will be the flyover.
Also on Wednesday, if they want to sit behind our bench,
Yeah, good question. All right, so, or good point, Steve. This year, men's basketball will be on the opposite bench of what most of our fans are accustomed to. So it's closer to their locker room. Coach Shulman also, he asked if we could look at possibly doing that. We're certainly happy to do that and looking excited about that new look. He mentioned, changing things up, looking at doing different things to try it a little differently, and we're going to do that. We'll be on the opposite bench of what you're accustomed to. So if you want to sit behind our fans, obviously reserved seating is still going to be in section 203, but our bench will be on the south bench. So southwest, is that right, Steve?
video board in.
Video board in. So also that's going to flip which basket we're going to in the second half. So just for everybody to be aware of that, if you want to think about your seats on Wednesday night. Excited about that change. Yes, ma'am.
So the distance will be down on the other end.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
That's right, Miss Susan. They will be on the opposite end.
Well, that changes my plans.
The good news, Erod, the seats on that's right. The seats on that end are the exact same as they are on the opposite end.
That is so true.
So, the biggest thing Coach Shulman actually said, he wanted to be able to provide an opportunity in any of these double headers that we have, just get us a little exercise in between games to move back and forth between the seats. So, no, it's gonna be good. We're excited about it.
What about hospitality suites up there? They're still going to be available?
For basketball,
Yeah.
we do our basketball hospitality for conference games. So that will start, that will start in January. Sure will. And we'll have some info coming out about that to all Purple Circle donors. Expect that early December. What about any other questions? Gino, anything?
I just don't have to walk as far to get to my seat.
That's right. That's right. We actually talked about that, Gene.
Always think about Gene. Gene's first.
Gino is the man. Gino is the man. All right, let's have a great week. Go Bears. Go Sugar Bears. Bear Claws up.